You are still running the Samsung. This is the Galaxy S8, and you are hoping to make it last even longer. Let's go over a bunch of ways to help your number one, your battery last longer, your screen last longer, and your phone overall to last way longer, maybe forever. Let's get started. And if at any point you get frustrated with your S8 and you know it's time to upgrade to something newer, this is my YouTube affiliate store right here. And I've got links to some phones on Walmart.com that are on sale and Samsung.com that are on sale. Samsung gives some great discounts if you shop through these links. All right, let's get started. The number one best thing that you can do to prolong the life of your S8 is as soon as you are done charging, remove the charger. Now, I'm going to show you on this phone because it's already started. So whoever owned this phone had left it always plugged in, and the battery's starting to bloat and it's beginning to separate. It's beginning to separate. Now, this is what's going to continue to happen. If you always leave your charger plugged in, your battery fails and it starts to bloat. It stops being able to hold a charge very long, and eventually it won't even be able to hold a charge. So the number one thing you can do right now to keep your S8 working for the longest time possible, unplug when you're done charging your battery. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, speaking of batteries, let's go into our battery settings here. Let's touch settings. And battery settings is underneath device care. So find the device care scrolling all the way down, and then you're going to find battery. So you can touch battery, and we can touch power mode. Now, there's a lot of choices here. Now, let me show you. In the software itself, it tells you can extend... Oops, got ahead of myself there. Extend your battery life by limiting some functions. Save as much battery as possible. So what happens when you touch... Let's say we're going to touch this one. So it's going to have a few things that it does for you, but it will extend your battery by a day, which means if your battery is extended for that period of time, it will give a longer total lifetime to your battery. So you can restrict background. You can read here, turn off always on display, limit your CPU speed. Obviously, if you're gaming or something, you don't want to limit your CPU speed. You can't use this one, or choose one that's not so aggressive, like optimized or even medium. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, another one that's kind of easy, which doesn't really work for everyone, is you can change your screen resolution. So again, we're going to go into display, touch display, and inside display you can touch screen resolution. If you go all the way down to HD plus, obviously your screen resolution is not going to be bright and crisp as compared to 260 by 140, but it'll help you save a little battery. This next one will 100% help you save battery. Watch this. Okay, on older LCD screens, it doesn't work, but this is a Super AMOLED screen, so it does save you battery. Some estimates say, if you're always using your phone on super bright and you turn on these new settings, it can save you up to about 50%, 30%. But if you're an average user, it might only be like 5 or 10%, but it'll still save battery, and it will save your screen pixels. Some of the older Samsungs are notorious for getting a shadow or red shadow, that kind of thing. So let's just jump right in. So it's dark mode, turning on dark mode, but it's not called dark mode. It takes a little bit of effort to find it in, if my finger can touch that. All right, let's go to display. And in the S8, it is called night mode. So you can turn on night mode. Watch what happens when you turn it on. And everything that is black now is not even on. So that will not only preserve your screen life, it'll help reduce your battery consumption and help extend the life of your S8, maybe forever. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one shocked me. Okay, so you know that there are other radios. Most people on your phone, most people are very familiar with Bluetooth, but look at all these that are on. So if you don't use Wi-Fi, if you don't use Bluetooth, if you don't use near-field communication, most people don't even use this yet. Like tap and pay, so you can turn off these, and there's one more that kind of blew my mind. Let's go to more connection settings, and it's this one right here. Well, we can do this. Nearby scanning. We don't need that. You can read that if you want to understand a little bit more, but we don't need to scan for other devices. I don't. And then here's the shocker. Printing. It's default on. It's always looking to print. So if you never print from your phone, jump in these settings, turn that off. Save some battery, extend the life of your S8. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Jump into settings, and we're going to go all the way down to system updates. If you haven't updated your phone in a while, jump in and look up see if I'm not connected right now to the internet, but see if you have system updates. Sometimes the software helps your phone run a little bit better. A phone this old, you probably should have. If you hadn't, go ahead and do the updates. Let's move on to the next one. So the cool thing on the Samsung Galaxy phones is they have device maintenance, device care. And again, we went into settings, scroll all the way down, and it's device care. And there's software built in to help you. It'll check for you. If it's not optimized, you can press optimization, and it'll help close background apps that you don't use. It'll point out places where you can clear out some memory, that kind of thing. This is something that you should be doing on a weekly basis, if not more often. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, we're going to stay right here because we're going to go into storage. And again, part of the built-in software, it'll help us clear out. This is where if you take bad pictures or you start a video and it doesn't go right and you have to start over, it'll end up in this area, and usually it'll give you trash or clear now or duplicate, or it'll tell you how much you have in here that you can just erase. So it helps you automatically. Again, part of your device care is to jump into here and every once in a while clear out the storage. It'll help your phone run a little bit smoother, again, if you've been using your phone for years and years and years and you've never cleared it out. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, this one's a little bit neat, and we're going to jump into settings again. We're going to go to apps, which is right below device care. And in apps, we're going to search for one called ONE, One UI Home. One UI Home is all of this, everything that we touch here and the speed at which it functions. So if we go back, we can actually change, I think we can change settings on here. Change settings. So app can use the background. So allow background activity. If you turn that off, it'll actually save you a little bit of battery. That's kind of a high-end one. There's not a lot of oomph behind this one. So if you want to find out if it works for you or not, just test it. If it doesn't work on all of these, just log back into those same settings and then turn on or off what you changed and get your phone back to how it was before. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, we're staying here in apps, touch apps. Now, if you've downloaded games or apps that you don't use anymore, jump in here and erase all that stuff. Like if you don't use just as an example, everybody uses Amazon, but you can, we can only disable it from here. So we can disable, it's the same. On ones that you've downloaded, there's going to be an uninstall option inside. So go into your apps, uninstall all the apps that you don't use anymore, get some room and space on your phone. It'll run a little bit better for you. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is cool, and this one will actually make your phone feel snappier. And it's cool because I can give a demonstration. So I'm going to open the dialer. Did you see how the dialer opens like this? Now I'm going to close the dialer. Did you see how the dialer closes like that? One more time. Open dialer, it opens, and close the dialer. We can turn off that animation, and your phone is going to feel snappier. Let's jump into settings again. We're going to go this time to accessibility. Again, at the bottom of the screen, accessibility. And we're going to go to visibility enhancements. And we're going to look for turn off animations. Remove animations. There we go. It's that easy. Again, if you don't like how your phone works, after you make these changes, jump back into accessibility, vision, remove animations, toggle it back the other way. Now watch it. This is so cool. Now it just blinks on, blinks off. Blinks on, blinks off. Blinks on. It's with everything that you touch. Camera opens, blinks on. When we close it, it blinks off. Your phone is going to feel so much snappier. Leave in the comments if you end up changing animations and you feel like your phone is running like brand new. All right, the next one is crazy. Watch this. All right, this next one, we're going to clear the cache. Now, everybody's nervous to do this because you actually have to get into the Android recovery menu to be able to access this feature. But what happens, so Android recovery menu, we're going to hold power, Bixby or side button, and volume up all at the same time. Volume up, side, power. As soon as we see Samsung, we'll let go right there. Now, don't make a mistake and choose factory reset. Factory reset will erase your entire phone. We're looking for clear cache. Clear cache partition is usually how it's phrased inside of these. Now, usually at the no command, it will advance here by itself within a few more seconds, but sometimes you have to make it advance. There it goes. And to make it advance, you would hold down power and then quick touch volume up, and it helps it advance. All right, let's see what our choices are. There it is, wipe cache partition. Again, do not choose wipe data factory reset. I think that's why it makes it scary. Your phone will be 100% erased. But on this one, wipe cache partition, it erases temporary files. So if your phone is starting to get sluggish, you got weird glitches, you got weird blips and funniness within apps, jump into here. You can clear the cache. All it does is erase temp files. It doesn't erase personal information. It doesn't even erase app-specific information. It only erases temporary. It's very safe. It's standard practice. If you would take it into a shop complaining about sluggishness or glitches, that kind of thing. So I'm going to push power for OK. One more time. Clear wipe cache. I'm going to choose yes. And it's only a few seconds. It's going to say cache is complete. And now it is safe to reboot the system. Press power for OK. I'm going to remind you, if you are done with your S8, you don't like it anymore, right here is the YouTube and affiliate shop with my best recommendations for some affordable phones, and especially at Samsung.com, they give some great discounts through the YouTube store. Hey, if this has helped you, please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.